Good day, student. My name is Ajit Okeokende. I'm a personal teacher in information technology. I'll be taking you through basic concept of computer. But before I start, my learning objectives are: number 1, definition of computer; number 2, parts of a computer; number 3, categories of parts of a computer; number 4, description of a computer based on input and output device. Now, the number 1 learning objective: definition of a computer. The definition of a computer goes thus: a computer is a fast data electronics machine that accepts data as input, processes it, and produces a useful output as information. So the word input is the data and the word output is the information. So now I'll hand over the lecture to my second personal teacher.
Students, my name is Ajilamba Aditolabo. I'll be your personal teacher on information technology. So in today's topic, we'll be looking at the parts of computer. Now, I'm sure you are familiar with part of computer. You have been hearing computer, so some of you might not know the major parts of the computer we are talking about. Now, I'll break it down for you. Parts of computers are further divided into 3 categories. So we have the input and output, we have the hardware devices or hardware components, we have the software components. Now, what do I mean by these 3 guys here? I meant the input and output devices are the ones that we give information. When I say input, I mean you are giving information to the computer, and the output, you are receiving it back as a processed data. Receiving information. Now, which part of computer falls under that category? We have the monitor. The monitor now displays it. It displays that is an output device. We have the keyboard. We input with the keyboard. Now, moving on, we have the hardware devices. Hardware devices now, they are the visible part of our computer that we can touch. Okay. Now we have the central processing unit. The CPU is an hardware device. The motherboard, they are all hardware device. We have the software devices now, or the software components part of the computer. Now the software are those ones that works in our system, that allows us to communicate with the system. We have Microsoft Word, our documents, our files that are there, and application software and other things we work on the system. So I hope with this explanation you'll be able to differentiate between what the component part of a computer are. Thank you very much for having me.
My name is Chisom Ogasiri, and I'll be your personal teacher in information and technology. I'll be taking you on the categories of parts of a computer. So majorly there are 2 major components of the categories impacting parts of a computer, which are namely hardware devices and software devices. So what are hardware devices? Hardware devices are those devices that can be felt, seen, and touched. They are those basic main devices that you can walk into a computer lab and you can see them, you can touch them, and you can also work with them hand in hand. So what are examples of hardware devices? Examples of hardware devices are your scanner, your CPU, your monitor, your mouse, your keyboard, and those various things. They use them in the computer lab for other basic teaching, every other thing a teacher needs to pass information to you in a class. So moving on, what are software devices? Software devices are those instructions or programs that you can use to communicate with your computer. You can use to communicate with your computer in a computer lab, in anywhere you are. As far as you are using a computer, there are those information or instructions inside the computer system that you can use to communicate with your system. So what are examples of software devices? They are Microsoft Word, Excel, Microsoft Word, Excel, your Photoshop, everything that you can see inside the computer that cannot be felt, but they can be seen and you can work with. Those are examples of the software devices. So I hope I'm able to make you understand what hardware and software devices are, and I hope after this class it will not be hard for you to comprehend them and understand them and use them in your daily life steps.
My name is Satai. I'll be your personal teacher in information technology. Our topic for today is going to be basic computer concepts. And we're going to be looking at the description of a computer as an input and output device. As my colleagues have said before, an input device is a device that receives input into the computer. An output device sends information out of the computer. A computer as an input device serves as a device which receives users' input from different instructions, users' data and instructions. Now, in example of an APU device are the keyboard, which serves as a main and a very important part of a computer, which sends letters and alphabets to the computer. Now we have an output as a description of a computer. An output serves as a description of a computer that sends information out of the computer. For example, we have a monitor. It sends the screen. It sends information out of the computer. Now we have speakers too, which send sounds out of the computer. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Good day, students. My name is Aziz Taiwa. In conclusion to what other personal teachers have said so far, computer is a data processing machine. Part of the computer are monitor, keyboard, and the mouse, etc. The components of the computer are hardware and software, and also the computer relies to the input and output device, which share receive data and information.